Hey guys, and welcome to another First Impressions video, the video game series in which we look at a recently released game and I give you my first thoughts and impressions on it. Today we're looking at Scarlet Symphony, which is a side-scrolling platformer with an anime RPG twist. It's not bad, the enemies are kind of annoying, and it's got some really weird boss mechanics which make it incredibly difficult. As always, we'll look through the options first, and then we'll jump straight into the game, and I will give you my first thoughts and impressions. So let's jump straight into it, shall we? Alright, the options. No graphics options at all, what to speak of. Granted, this is a fairly low fidelity side-scrolling platformer, but it feels like it's in the wrong resolution. It feels like it's in 720. It feels blurry, it's not very clear, and it could just do with tightening up a little bit. The artwork in this game is fantastic, but the actual game, and like with the options here, it's very fuzzy around the edges. Not ideal. Also, this game is pretty much designed exclusively with a controller in mind. You've got no mouse support at all whatsoever. But what you have language. You've got your screen type, so you can have it full screen, borderless window, whatever. It does start in borderless window by default, which is good. You've got your volumes here. It does start it at full, which is not ideal because it is quite loud. Also, if you leave it on the start menu for too long, it does that really weird thing that they used to do back in the 90s, where it will start through the opening sequence again, which is really annoying. You've got your difficulty level. Set on normal, it's fairly challenging. Like there's not that many enemies, but a lot of the enemies you face are flying, and that can be a bit of a pain in the arse. What I do like is that here you've got your difficulty set, and then you can have as many lives as you like, up to 20, which is really fucking cool. I like the fact that you can basically just keep going at it if you know you're going to be bad. Pro tip, I'm going to be bad. Then you've got buttons here. Now, you can rebind them, but unfortunately, it's only for in-game. You can't rebind the buttons for your menus, because with a lot of these sort of, Japanese, Chinese games that have been ported over to Western audiences, they seem to have the controller setup reversed to what we're used to. Over here, at least, we are used to A being select, or your X button if you're on PS being select, and then your B or circle button being cancel. Whereas on a lot of these games, it's the same with Final Fantasy and stuff like that. It's actually the reverse, and B is accept. So if you're not used to that, that can be a bit annoying when you are, new to a game, and you go in and you try and select and you can't. But you can rebind the buttons, just not for the menus, which is a bit weird. And then you can set everything back to default at the bottom. So there you go. That's the options. Could do with a lot of improvements, namely a resolution option. If you're not going to give us any other graphics options, please give us that. But let's jump into the game and see what it looks like, shall we? Alright, we're in the game. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's a save or load option. You just start again. If you die, you just have to start again. So, luckily, there is a skip with the text, but that is worth bearing in mind. So, we are on a side-scrolling. Again, it is nothing but flying enemies, which are really, really annoying to go against. You have the ability to fly. However, the flying does come with one big downside, and that is that you can't turn the way that you're aiming and or shooting. So you can go backwards, but you can only strafe backwards, and therefore if an enemy gets behind you, you can't just turn around. You have to stop flying in order to then jump and do it. Now, you've got your own shoot button, and then you've got your melee button here as well, and later on you can summon in a partner by pressing the right thumbstick. It is a platformer in that there are jumps that you got to do. If you fall down, if you miss one of the jumps, you will die quite badly, and it will take a life off you. So here you see, look, I am gonna be in trouble because these birds do fly, they do swoop, they are very mobile. You are not. and it is a problem. The sound effects are very in your face, I think is the word that we want to use. They're very obnoxious. They're not bad per se, but they're very, you know, sort of straight out the 80s with the punching effects and stuff. I did say I'm not very good at it. I did go into this saying I'm bad. Those white birds are definitely the worst offenders out of all of it, in my opinion. They're the most annoying enemy. And like I say, you go through the first 2/3 of the first level without encountering a ground target, and then when you do, it jumps. So the enemies are, for want of a better term, just straight up annoying more than fun and challenging to beat. They're aggravating because your melee weapon isn't very good, and like I say, the only way to really beat them is to fly, but that doesn't really work either because you can't turn and face, like you just straight backwards. Overall, it's not bad. I've definitely played worse side-scrolling games like this. It would be nice if I had more than a whip. Honestly, it'd be nice if I had a different varying type of weapon and maybe a combo or two instead of just whipping out in front would be nice. It's a bit too simplistic for me, and the enemies have way more movement, way more agility. It just feels like the game is stacked against you, and it feels like it's going to be difficult for difficult's sake rather than being difficult to be a challenge and to be fun. But yeah, there you go. This is Scarlet, and it's not bad. Scarlet Symphony, and it's not bad. It could be better, but overall it's okay. You can sort of try and avoid the enemies, but they will just come at you, and if you time your jump wrong, you'll fall down to your death, and that's not what you want. So there you go. Let me know in those comments down below, guys. What do you think? Is this a game you would play? Would you prefer better combat? Let me know, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.